Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August 11th. The Brewers stayed the best and got even hotter, while these types of pitchers are on their way out. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? We are getting through the dog days here of August as we get closer and closer to September baseball. The pennant chases will be on divisions. The races are heating up kind of. I was looking at the standings a little bit earlier on this morning. I mean, all the divisions within 6 games of each other. That's the type of baseball you love to see. And thanks for tuning on in. Let's get going with today's episode and start it off with our series recap. Astros and Yankees kicking us off. Potential AL wildcard matchup here. Altuve would go deep in the Bronx. This one goes to extras. Taylor Trammell, a 2-run homer. The Astros take the opener 5-3, but the Yankees evened it up. Trent Grisham, a clutch homer in the 8th for the lead, his 21st on the year. 5-4 Yankees. And in the last game, it's a bit of a blowout. Altuve goes deep. Correa goes deep. 2017-esque vibe. 7-1 Astros as they take 2 of 3 from the Yankees. A's and Oilers now. Adley Rutschman, Ryan Mountcastle, they go back-to-back in the first. The O's take a 3-2 victory here, but the A's bounce back. Shea Langoliers, Brent Rooker, they both go deep. They combine for 7 RBIs in this one, 11-3 A's. And in the final, it's Willie McIver going with a go-ahead 2-run double in the 9th that tied and put the A's out in top. They get the comeback win and the series win. 3-2 A's. They take 2 of 3. Guardians and White Sox. The Guardians opened this game up with 5 runs in the first inning. They would cruise from there to a 9-5 victory. And how about CJ Kayfus getting his first career MLB home run, part of a 3-1 Guardians win. But the White Sox avoid the sweep as Lenyon Sosa, Colson Montgomery, they both go deep. Kyle Manzardo had a 2-homer game for the Guardians, but wasn't enough as the White Sox win it 6-4 and avoid that sweep. Royals and Twins, Matt Wallner, Cody Clemens, they both go deep for Minnesota as they take a 9-4 victory. But the Royals come back. They blank the Twins in Game 2 for a 2-0 victory. Ryan Fitzgerald from Minnesota, his first career MLB hit was an MLB home run. His first career MLB hit and homer in his second career game. And then how about Luke Kershaw has come up for the Twins, and he's been a huge part. His second career homer is a walk-off home run in the 11th inning. Twins vibes are high. 5-3 Minnesota. They take 2 of 3 from the Royals. Angels and Tigers now. Spencer Torkelson goes deep. And how about Matt Vierling getting his first homer of the season? It's a clutch 3-run go-ahead homer in the 8th. The Tigers edge one out 6-5 against the Halos. But they come back. Joe Adell, Taylor Ward, Luis Rengifo all going deep for the Halos. 7-4 the final there. But the Tigers, Kerry Carpenter goes deep. Riley Green goes deep. 9-5 Detroit as they take 2 of 3 from LA. The Rays and the Mariners, Brandon Lau, Junior Caminero, they both hit solo shot homers in this one, but it's the big dumper, a clutch 3-run homer in the 8th. That's for the lead. That's for his 43rd homer of the season, and the Mariners take a 3-2 victory. In Game 2, how about Julio, the big dumper's 44th of the year. Julio, once again, a 2-homer day for him. Lau and Caminero would both hit homers again as well, but the 3 Mariners give them a 7-4 victory. And in the 3rd and final game, Josh Naylor goes deep, as well as the big dumper. He homers in all 3 games, and his lead is up to now 45 homers on the season. 6-3 Seattle as the Mariners sweep the Rays. Phillies and Rangers, Kyle Schwarber, Brandon Marsh, Trey Turner, they all go yard in a 9-1 blowout for Philadelphia. In Game 2, it's a 3-run 7th that would lift the Phillies past the Rangers. 3-2 the final in that one. And in the final game, the Phillies score 4 unanswered after Jock Peterson hit a 2-run bomb in the first. Edmundo Sosa would homer as a part of that for 4-2 Phillies as they sweep the Texas Rangers. Marlins and Braves now, they've got 5 games on the docket here, a 4-game series, as well as an April 6th remake for a doubleheader. Ozuna goes deep in Game 1, and Drake Baldwin gets a 2-homer game, 5 RBIs in that one. He had a huge series. The Braves take the opener 8-6 in the final of that one. In Game 2, the Marlins bounce back a 5-1 victory as Heriberto Hernandez continues his little stretch of hot appearances. He gets a homer, and it evens up the series at 1. Then we head to Saturday, which is the doubleheader day. The first one, Baldwin, another 2 RBIs. Michael Harris, a big 3-run homer as the Braves win it 7-1. And for the other game, Baldwin adds on 3 more RBIs. He is killing it. Marcell Ozuna, a 2-homer game. He had 4 RBIs in this one, as the 2 of those guys make up 7 of the Braves' 8 runs, leading to an 8-6 victory. And in the final game, it's Matt Olson. It's Marcell Ozuna for a 4th homer in the series, and Michael Harris II hits a 2nd homer in the series. 7-1 Braves, and the Braves take 4 of 5 from the Marlins. They're still behind them in the standings, though. Mets and Brewers, this was a big series. Soto and Marte both hit solo shot home runs. Bryce Terang gets a 2-run shot to tie this game up. And then Isaac Collins, a hit by pitch with the bases loaded. That's the difference in this one, as Blake Perkins guns down Starling Marte at the plate, trying to score the tying run. He's out, and the Brewers would win on that throw. 3-2 Milwaukee in Game 1. In Game 2, it's Pete Alonso tying the record for the Mets franchise home runs. Starling Marte goes deep. Soto goes deep once again. Bryce Terang gets another homer for the Brewers. Wilson Contreras, he homers on a second life effort after a pitch clock violation flyout. That capped off a 4-run 7th as the Brewers take a 7-4 victory. And in the final game, the Mets led by 5 after Cedric Mullins went deep. William Contreras, a 2-homer game, and then Isaac Collins with the walk-off home run, his 8th of the year. The Brewers take a 7-6 victory and sweep the Mets, teams heading in opposite directions. Cubs and Cardinals now. Jordan Walker, his 4th homer of the year as a part of a 5-0 Cardinals effort for the opener. Michael Busch, Matt Straw, they both homer in Game 2, part of a 9-1 victory for the Cubs. And in the rubber match, Pedro Pages, a 2-run homer. Matt Shaw, a 2-run homer. And then it's Nolan Gorman, an RBI single in the 7th. That's the difference in a 3-2 victory for the Cardinals as they take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. Reds and Pirates now part of a 4-game series. Brian Reynolds, Henry Davis, they both go deep. 7-0 Pittsburgh after the first game. Brian Reynolds would have more heroics in Game 2 as he would hit a 2-run go-ahead triple in the 8th as the Pirates get a comeback win. 3-2 the final. They take the first 2 games, but the Reds bounce back. Nick Martinez goes 7 strong as they hold the Pirates to 1 run. 2-1 Cincy in that one. And then it's an offensive showing as Miguel Andujar, Spencer Steele, and Noelvi Marte all go deep for the Reds. 14-8 the final as the Reds and Pirates split the 4-game set 2 apiece. Nationals and Giants now. It's Rafael Devers, it's Casey Schmidt, both going deep for the Giants as they take a 5-0 win in the opener. And it's got to be a good feeling for James Wood, a leadoff bomb for him. Paul DeYoung homers, Josh Bell homers, 3 National homers, leads to a 4-2 Nats win. And in the final game, CJ Abrams gets a homer, and James Wood, he had a great series. He could be getting out of that slump finally as he picked up 4 more RBIs in the last game, part of an 8-0 Nationals win as they take 2 of 3 from the Giants. Rockies and D-backs. The D-backs pick up a 6-1 win as Blaze Alexander and Corbin Carroll both go deep in the opener. Carroll would homer again in Game 2 as this one was 5-5 in the 9th before Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hits a walk-off double for the win. 6-5 Arizona the final there. And after the Rockies got the first 2 outs in the 5th, the D-backs opened a onslaught of runs as they scored 8 straight in a mega rally. 2 outs, 8 runs, crazy stuff. 13-6 the final, and the D-backs sweep the Rockies. Blue Jays and Dodgers now, 2 top teams going at it. Max Scherzer versus Kershaw, the Unk game people called it. Mookie Betts hit a go-ahead 2-run homer, part of a 5-1 Dodgers win in the opener. Muncy and Ohtani would go deep in Game 2 before the floodgates opened, part of a 9-1 Dodgers win. And Ohtani and Freeman, they both homer in Game 3, looking for the sweep. Vlad and Barger go back-to-back in the 8th to tie and take the lead from the Dodgers, but the Dodgers tie it back in the bottom of the 8th. But top 9th, it's Ernie Clement. Go-ahead homer in the 9th. How about Mason Fluharty with the bases loaded and 1 out? Strikes out Ohtani and gets Betts to ground out to end the game. The Blue Jays hold on big time. 5-4 the final, that one. As they avoid the sweep from the Dodgers. And lastly, the Red Sox and the Padres. Could the Red Sox help out the Dodgers? Would the Padres help out the Blue Jays? Willie Abreu, Masataka Yoshida, they both go deep. It's a 10-2 Red Sox win. But in Game 2, Xander Bogaerts, he hits a homer against his former team. Roman Anthony, the newly paid rookie, he ties it in the 9th to get it into extras. And it's Ramon Laureano, one of the new Padres. He hits the walk-off single as the Padres take a 5-4 victory to even up the series. And in the rubber match, the Padres score 5 unanswered. They took a lead early, and they didn't give it up. 6-2 San Diego, the final, as the Padres take 2 of 3 from the Red Sox for your series recap. Mets and Brewers, the final game of this series. And boy, the Mets needed to win this one. Juan Soto, an RBI single in the first. Jeff McNeil, an RBI single. It's 2-0 New York. Top second, Brett Beatty gets his 12th homer of the season. A solo shot puts them up 3-0. The Mets then in the top of the third, Ronnie Mauricio, he would get an RBI single. It's 4-0 Mets. Top four, Cedric Mullins, a solo shot, his 16th of the season. It's 5-0 Mets through 4. They're feeling good. Bottom 4, though, the Brewers get on the board. William Contreras, he homered in Game 2. He homers here in Game 3, his 11th of the year. Gets the Brewers on the board. It's 5-1. And then Joey Ortiz, it's a 2-run single for him. 5-3 as the Brewers cut the lead to 2. But it's Pete Alonso in the top of the 5th. An RBI double puts the Mets back up by another run. It's a 3-run lead heading into the bottom of the 5th, where William Contreras would homer again, his 12th of the season. A 2-run shot makes it a 1-run game. The Mets are holding strong, though, until the bottom of the 8th, where it's Joey Ortiz once again. An RBI single ties the game up at 6. And then in the bottom of the 9th, it's the rookie Isaac Collins, his 8th homer of the season. It's a walk-off bomb, and the Brewers take a 7-6 victory, not avoid the sweep. They get the sweep against the Mets from falling down 5-0 to come back and win it 7-6. An incredible comeback for an incredible team. Their league leading 73rd win of the season, the best in baseball. That's your game of the weekend here. Let's get into the baseball news here. First things first, let's talk about Jen Pawol, who made MLB history over the weekend here. I mentioned it on Friday, how she was set to become the first female umpire in regular season MLB history, and she did hit those marks. She was first base umpire and I believe third base for the first of the doubleheader matchups between the Braves and Marlins. So she was first out there on Saturday, but then came behind the plate on Sunday to call the first game for a female umpire. Started off, unfortunately, with a wrong call, but it is what it is. She did have a great game behind the plate. A couple missed calls here and there, but guess what? Every umpire has a couple of missed calls, and some of them are really bad. Hers, not the worst calls in the world. A couple that missed, outside, a couple missed inside, but hey, it's the first real taste regular season. It's different. It's the same but different. And obviously there's a lot of pressure for her. But she did a fantastic job. Her quotes were great. You saw kids, mocking her, not mocking her, but mimicking her in the stands, getting the umpire stuff on, and you could really feel the greatness that was, in Atlanta for that weekend, and it was really special to see. So congrats to her, and hopefully we'll see her around in a lot more games around the league. So good for Pawol there. Let's talk about some streaky teams right now because we've got some. The Brewers and the Mets, they just face each other. Big sweep for the Brewers. We just talked about that for the game of the week, but they're trending in opposite directions here. The Mets, 1-9 in their last 10. They've lost 7 straight. Meanwhile, the Brewers, 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 9 straight. They are the best team in baseball, and they are adding to it. And with a streak like this, the Cubs are falling further and further out of the picture. And for the Mets, the Phillies are getting further and further ahead. Some other streaky teams, the Rockies, they got swept by the Jays. They just got swept by the Diamondbacks. They've lost 7 straight and 2-8. And how about the Mariners? They are 9-1 in their last 10. They're on a 7-game winning streak and only half a game behind the Astros. Seattle's rise. So we got 2 really hot teams, 2 really cold teams. And Brewers and Mets face each other at the wrong time where the Mets are struggling day in and day out. And the Brewers just seem to fire on all cylinders. You cannot get rid of them. The 5-0 comeback, the homers, the second chances, like it's a little bit of luck from the Brewers, but at the same time, it's the resilience of this team led by, guys like Yelich and William Contreras, were also the new guys and the guys who, have continued to make a name for themselves. The Isaac Collins, who could potentially be the NL Rookie of the Year, the Bryce Terangs, the Joey Ortizes. These guys have really been carrying the Brewers at times during this season, and it's been really solid stuff. So, again, Brewers hot, Mets not, Mariners hot, Rockies, who cares? But those are your streaky teams right now as we get through the month of September. And now I want to talk about something a little bit different here. I want to talk about the dying era of pitchers. In case you missed it, which if you're listening to this podcast, it probably means you like baseball. And if you like baseball, you definitely, knows the sport and knows what's going on in the baseball world here. Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw and Max Scherzer, they face each other, part of the Dodgers and Blue Jays series for Game 1 of this series. They first face each other, a great clip. Vince Scully talking about how it's supposed to be Greg Maddux versus Randy Johnson one day, and it ended up being Kershaw and Scherzer who faced each other for the first time. So they got to pitch. They battled it out. It was a great game. They both pitched really well. And then Justin Verlander, in his game on Sunday, he hit career 3,500 strikeouts. These 3 pitchers, man, they are the last of a dying breed. And what I mean by that is we don't see this in today's game anymore. And I fell down the rabbit hole because so many stats are being talked about during that Kershaw and Scherzer game that I ended up following myself down the rabbit hole of active leaders pitching stats-wise. And I mean, it really is over the dying age of baseball here. If you look at active leaders for innings pitched, Justin Verlander's in first, Scherzer's in second, and Kershaw is in third. These guys are all over 2,800 innings pitched, Verlander being at 3,515 innings pitched. The next guy up is Charlie Morton, who is 41 years old. He's at 2,200. That's a 600 inning gap between those 3, and then Morton, followed up by Quintana, who's 36 years old, followed up by Sale, who's 36 years old, Patrick Corbin, who's 35, and then Garrett Cole, who's 34. He's not even at 2,000 innings. Of course, some of these guys deal with injuries, but I mean, we're at a point now where, you're not going to get to 3,000 innings pitched. You're not going to get to what looks like 2,500 innings pitched. I mean, these guys are mid-30s already. Morton's 41. So, I mean, it really is Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw. Next stat, strikeouts. Verlander hit that 3,500 mark. He's at 3,503 now. Max Scherzer's at 3,456. He'll probably get to 3,500. And then Kershaw, he just got over 3,000 strikeouts, a couple weeks ago. And then next up is Chris Sale, who's at 2,500. He's 500 strikeouts off and is at 36 years old. Garrett Cole's in fifth. These are active stats, by the way, if I didn't mention the active part. Garrett Cole's 34. He's at 2,251. He's got 800 strikeouts to go. Coming back from a Tommy John surgery at the age of 35. Who knows how much time he's got left here. You go to complete games even. Like Max Scherzer's got 12. Clayton Kershaw, 25. Verlander, 26. I mean, the next guy really who has a chance, I guess, Framber Valdez for the Astros has done pretty well. He has 9 complete games at the age of 31. So, I mean, but you're not going to see someone get to 20 these days, not with these new era of pitchers. Same thing with shutouts. Kershaw, 15 shutouts. Verlander, 9 shutouts. Max Scherzer, 5 shutouts. You go down the list a little bit. You're looking for a young guy. Max Fried has 4 shutouts at age of 31. So, I mean, he's going to be able to get a couple here. But overall, you're not seeing this. And, I mean, just one last stat, wins. Justin Verlander, 263 wins in his career. Clayton Kershaw and Max Scherzer are tied with 218 wins. Garrett Cole's in 4th. He's got 153. He needs to double his current wins at the age of 34 to get over 300. We're never going to see a 300 win pitcher again, not at this rate. You got down the list here. Charlie Morton, 41 years old. Chris Sale, 36. Sonny Gray, 35. Zach Wheeler, 35. Carrasco's 38. Darvish, 38. Cosman's 34. Corbin, 35. I mean, where are the young guys? Jose Barrios, 31 years old. He's got 107 wins. We currently only have 20 active pitchers who have over 100 wins in the big leagues. Jacob deGrom is 37. He's at 94 wins. Rich Hill is 45 years old, an active pitcher technically. He's at 90. I mean, you got to go all the way down here. I'm scrolling down Baseball Reference right now. I'm trying to find a 29-year-old. Okay, Logan Webb, 28 years old, 65 active wins. He's 48th active wins right now. I mean, it really is a dying age of baseball. Verlander, Kershaw, and Scherzer are the last 3 of, a dying pitcher type class, essentially, because teams would rather have a pitcher go 5-6 innings throwing 101 miles an hour than, pass it off to a bullpen than a guy who is like these guys who can go 8 innings, give up a run, give up a couple hits, maybe strike out a couple batters, but are overall still solid, still sound. And, we don't see that in today's day anymore. There isn't that type of pitcher. And, at this rate, too, with the way pitcher injuries happen, even if you are on pace, like, you could say Garrett Cole could have been on pace, but eventually you're going to get hurt with the shoulder stuff and the injuries and the Tommy John. Like, it is, a type of baseball that we don't have anymore because the hitters have gotten better, so pitchers have to get better, and you end up throwing your arms out and you get hurt. And you don't see it anymore. So Verlander, Kershaw, Scherzer, the last of a dying breed. If you get a chance, if you're a Giants fan, a Dodger fan, a Blue Jays fan, or if you're just a fan of another team and these 3 teams are coming to town, you should try to watch one of these pitchers one last time. They aren't the same as once they were in their prime. Kershaw, 3 Cy Youngs and MVP. Verlander, 3 Cy Youngs and MVP. Scherzer, 2 Cy Youngs, 3 Cy Youngs. Like, these guys have combined for some amazing stats, and they really are the last of that type of pitcher. And we have a new era of pitchers that are very electric, very fun to watch. But if you were a fan of these 3, I mean, these are the last 3. Chris Sale, maybe you can count in them, but he's dealt with a lot more injuries than they have, so he's kind of further away to the record books as some of these other guys. But all 3 of them, first round ballot Hall of Famers, absolute amazing pitchers. And who knows how much longer we have left to really admire these guys. Scherzer maybe a couple years, Kershaw maybe a couple, Verlander maybe this is his last year. Maybe he's got one more in him. I don't know, but it really is an era that is nearly over here. So something to keep in mind here. It was good to see Scherzer and Kershaw face off, though. Both went 6 innings, combined 3 runs, so very solid stuff. All right. Last bit of news to talk about. I was curious about when teams will start clinching. I know it's early. I know we've still got plenty of time. We've got nearly, 45, 50 games remaining here. But I was doing a little bit of, digging and just seeing what kind of magic numbers we're dealing with. Obviously, we're still a ways away from actually doing our magic numbers segment, towards the end of the year, keeping track of who's got what kind of magic numbers. Yeah, we still got about 44 or 45 games left of this season here. And I pulled up the magic numbers, and right now the Brewers, obviously the best team in baseball, the hottest team in baseball, they have the lowest magic number of 30. The Tigers in second with 33 with a magic number there. And basically, if you did the math, the Brewers could clinch in just over 2 weeks. Of course, they would need to win their next 15 games and have those top teams in the wild card hunt right now. So Cincinnati, St. Louis, they would need to lose 15 straight games. So we're still probably a little ways out. I don't think we'll have a clinch in August, but who knows? The way the Brewers are playing, they really could. But yeah, Brewers and other teams will probably start clinching, first week of September, really at this pace. But we're still a bit of a ways out. But I was, getting a little bit playoff hungry, so I want to check the magic numbers. But we'll open that segment up once we get into maybe like the final 10. When the Brewers are 10 games away, or 10 is their magic number for clinching a postseason spot. That's when we really start keeping track of our magic numbers here. But I just want to do a little bit of dig and see where we were at. All right, Matt, let's move on to our hot and colds from the week. The hottest player is one of the best players in baseball, Shohei Ohtani, 10 for 20, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 4 RBIs, 9 runs, 5 walks, a 1.650 OPS. Jose Altuve, 9 for 20, a double, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, 6 runs, 4 walks, a 1.492 OPS. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from your Blue Jays was 10 for 23 with 4 doubles and 3 homers, 6 RBIs, 7 runs, a 1.458 OPS. And how about Carlos Correa back with the Astros? He is hot. Twins fans look away. 11 for 20, 2 doubles, a homer, 4 RBIs, 3 runs, 4 walks, a 1.425 OPS. You know what? Yankees fans look away as well. And then how about the Twins kid, Luke Kershaw? We've talked about his hot start since he's gotten called up here. 10 for 22, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, 2 runs, a 1.319 OPS. How about that from the kid? On the cold side of things, Francisco Lindor goes the whole week without a hit, 0 for 19 with 7 Ks. Salvador Perez, 1 for 20 with 4 Ks. Eugenio Suarez, 2 for 21 with 10 strikeouts. Jack Samaro, 1 for 18 with 3 Ks. And Andrew Benintendi, 3 for 22 with 5 Ks. Those are the cold players from the week here. As we move on now to our injury updates here. Colton Cowser from Baltimore lands on the 7-day IL with a concussion. Ahmed Rosario, 10-day IL with a sprained shoulder, newly acquired Yankee. Luis Severino, 15-day IL for the A's with a strained oblique. Tyler O'Neill, 10-day IL from Baltimore again, wrist inflammation. They take a hit here, and then Matt Vierling hit his first homer of the season to help the Tigers get a win. He lands back on the injured list, 10-day IL with a strained oblique, and those are the updates on the injury stats there. As we now look ahead to the outstanding performances here, look ahead. Not the right words there. Paul Skeens, 6 innings, 7 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 Ks for him. Chase Burns, 6 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 10 Ks. He's made 8 starts this year, 4 of them 10 strikeouts or more. That's an MLB record for him. Edward Cabrera has been firing on all cylinders recently. 8 innings, 2 hits, a run, a walk, 11 Ks. How about that from him? Nick Martinez with the Reds, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. Blake Snell in his second start back from the IL, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Jason Alexander with a little bit of a no-hit bid into the 6th inning against the Yankees. 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. And then Mackenzie Gore, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 10 Ks. That is your outstanding performances. Let's jump into the standings check and see where everyone is standing right now. In the AL East, the Blue Jays are looking for their 70th win. They're 69-50, 19 games up on 500, still sitting first in the division. 4 games up on the Red Sox, who are 65-54, and they're 6.5 up on the Yankees, 62-56. That's your top 3 looking right now. Yankees kind of falling away a little bit here thanks to Devin Williams keep blowing games for them. For the Central, I think it was the beginning of August, maybe just ending July. The Tigers had about a 15-game lead over the Guardians. That has now been reduced to 6 games. Objects, they're coming a little bit here. They're closing in here. The Guardians are 61-56, and the Tigers are 68-51. So, I mean, it's still very likely the Tigers will hold on to this division, but from 15 games to 6, that's a big swing for the Guardians here, and the Royals 58-60, 2 games under 500, trying to get going here because they could still have a chance if they really want it. For the AL West, the Astros are 66-52. The Mariners are 66-53. Half a game lead, of course. The Mariners 9-1 in their last 10, 7-game winning streak. We mentioned that. Texas, they handled the Yankees pretty nicely, but then got swept by the Phillies. They're on a 4-game losing streak, 3-7 in their last 10. They've gone from half a game from the wild card to 2.5 from the wild card. Meanwhile, 6.5 back from the Astros in the division. So Texas, a little bit of a scamper. They're 60-59, just 1 game up 500. In the East now for the NL side, we talked about the Mets and Phillies a little bit here, but the Mets 63-55, they're struggling big time, 5.5 back of the Phillies now, who are 68-49, 7-3 in their last 10. They are feeling pretty good about themselves. For the NL Central, the Brewers on that 9-game winning streak, they're just pulling away from the Cubs, who are playing decent baseball, but they're not being on par with the Brewers. It is now a 6-game lead, the largest game lead besides the Tigers and Guardians. So, I mean, they have the same amount of games back. Tigers are 6 games up on the Guardians. Brewers are 6 games up on the Cubs. Brewers 73-44, still the only team that has 70 wins in the big leagues right now, and they're up to 73. How about that? Cubs 67-50. They need to get going, but they are 4.5 up in the wild card. And then the Reds 62-57. They're a game and a half back of the wild card, so maybe Cincinnati could be a little problem for some teams. And then in the NL West, it is still the Dodgers 68-50, but the Padres still on their tail, 66-52, 2 games back of the division there. The Padres need to get going here. They think I think they play soon, Dodgers and Padres, so that will be must-watch baseball. If you take a look at the wild card division leaders right now, Blue Jays, Tigers, and Astros hold your top 3 seeds there. The AL wild card has the Mariners in first with a 3.5 game lead, the Red Sox in second with a 2.5 game lead, and the Yankees still holding that final spot. The Rangers were half a game out. They are fallen to 2.5 out, while the Guardians, who are 8-2 in their last 10, I forgot to mention that, they're half a game out of the Yankees. So teams are really challenging New York. They're holding their own right now, but Cleveland half a game out, Rangers 2.5 out, and the Royals 4 games out. So those are kind of those 3 teams outside looking in on the Yankees. Meanwhile, on the NL side, your division leaders, the Brewers, the Phillies, and the Dodgers currently holding those places. The wild card has the Cubs 4.5 games up, the Padres 3 games up, and the Mets, despite a 7-game losing streak and a 1-9 in their last 10, they are still holding on to the 6th seed, the final wild card spot there. But the Reds on their tails, a game and a half back of the wild card. Cardinals 3.5 back, Giants 4 at 500 again, 59-59. Those are those 3 teams that are outside looking in. So, if you really look at the standings, I mean, you have 3 division winners, 3 wild card teams, and 3 teams that could get in if they get hot at the right time. So when you really look at it, we've got 12 teams that are kind of out of the postseason. At least that's how I look at them. Teams like the White Sox, the A's, the Oilers, the Angels, the Twins, the Rays, the Rockies, the Nationals, the Pirates, the Braves, the Marlins, the Diamondbacks. That's what it's looking like right now. Of course, still with 44 or 45 games left to go, a lot can change, but that is what the standing check is saying right now. And that brings us to our upcoming series for the week here. We've got some good games of baseball, some good series for you. Cubs are in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. That's a really fun series right there. Mariners at O's, Twins at Yankees, Marlins at the Guardians, Nationals at Royals, Tigers at White Sox, Dodgers at Angels. Little Battle of LA there. D-backs and Rangers, 2023 World Series rematch. Fun stuff there. Red Sox at Astros. That for me is the big one. Rays and A's, Braves at Mets, Phillies at Reds, Pirates at Brewers. Watch out, Pirates. Brewers are hot, hot, hot. Rockies at Cardinals. And we end it with the Padres in San Francisco to take on the Giants, which brings us now to our series highlight. And as I said, the series, the big one here, is Red Sox at Astros. The Red Sox, as mentioned, 4 games back of the Jays. Meanwhile, the Astros have half a game of a lead over the Mariners. So if the Red Sox can sweep here and the Cubs maybe deal with the Jays a little bit, they can close in on that. And if the Mariners handle their own, they could get ahead of the Astros here. So a lot to play for. When you actually look at these two teams, they're only a game and a half back. The Red Sox a game and a half back of the Astros. So, with a 3-game set here, you take 2 of 3, you get maybe half a game back. There's some hope there. Game 1 is today. It is Monday. The Red Sox are sending out Garrett Crochet, a 13-4 record, a 2.24 ERA, one of the leaders for potential Cy Young in the AL. Meanwhile, the Astros are sending out Christian Javier, and if you're wondering where he's been recovering from Tommy John. He is making his season debut today. Has not pitched since May 21st, 2024, so it's been a while, but the Astros were bringing back Christian Javier, and it might be at the right moment to help Houston. For Game 2, the Red Sox send out former Dodger Dustin May, 6-8 record, a 4.93 ERA, while the Astros bring out Spencer Arrighetti, who is 1-2 with a 7.43 ERA. And for the third and final game, another former Dodger, Walker Buehler, 7-6 record, a 5.4 ERA, while the Astros send out their candidate for potential AL Cy Young, Hunter Brown, who is 9-5 this year with a 2.51 ERA. So when you look at things, Game 2 is definitely going to be the telling game here of the series. And that is your series highlight, the one to watch if you're looking for some good baseball. And that will do it for our episode here today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning on in, enjoying some baseball. Use code. No, I'm just kidding. It'd be great if I could get a sponsor. But that's all I have for you guys here today. I appreciate you all. Thank you, buddy, so much. And I will see you on Friday.